Right, so I'm going to try not to be too thorough because I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, just to really set the scene, because we're going to discuss a lot of these things on the panel. So I'm a research director at S&P Global at the Kagan TMT division. I've been covering this industry for around 20 plus years, and a huge amount has changed, even though there's still people with black and white televisions in the UK. So I'm going to start off with a quick overview on broadband in the UK, and also kind of putting it in relation to Western Europe. So as a lot of you know, there's been a massive frenzy of fibre rollouts here in the UK. Too many players hoping for the best and not really getting there, to be honest. We had over 100 fibre providers, or at least fibre companies that were set up. Not all of them got to the point of deployment. And in that last 3, 4, 5 years, there's been a lot of economic woes. So, COVID hasn't helped, the economic downturn after that. That's really kind of put pressure on a lot of these ISPs that are rolling out fibre. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation in the industry. And there's down pressure on the cost from the cost of borrowing perspective, and in terms of being able to kind of meet the rollout plans, because there's been a lot of overbuild here in the UK, and to be honest, unlike in some countries like in France, where they're very organised about their fibre rollouts, it wasn't the case here. It was a bit of a free-for-all. So in markets in Western Europe, you can see in the chart at the bottom, you can see where the UK sits in terms of broadband download speeds. So this is across all technologies. And you can see that, being in the kind of 10 to 30 megabit range is quite big. And I think we should be much higher than that. I think Europe is aiming for a minimum of 100 across, or the EU rather, across all of its territories, and having gigabit-ready networks in the next few years. So by 2024, you can see that 6 markets already have 60% of broadband subscribers opting for FTTH. By 2028 in Western Europe, 10 of those 16 markets will have a subscriber market share that exceeds 50%. If you look at the chart, the pie on the right-hand side, you can see the market share of homes passed among the kind of the main players, if you like. So Openreach, VMO2, City Fibre, and then the altnets. And you can see BT Openreach takes a pretty big chunk of that, as do the altnets. So there's still quite a lot of consolidation at play potentially. You can see the premises passed and the penetration. I mean, at one point, I think we were looking at something like over 60 to 80 million premises planned for fibre in the UK, which is ridiculous given that we have 30 million premises. So you can see that situation hasn't played out so well, and why a lot of players are in trouble. But the networks are getting there. We've got decent fibre penetration. It's picking up. We've been very far behind. We've lagged a lot, but it is catching up, and it is starting to improve.
Sorry, quick question.
Yeah, sure.
How do you do the market share, say for City Fibre?
Yeah.
Because Openreach must overbuild 90% of the City Fibre network.
Yeah.
So who do you give it to?
No, we count the homes passed by provider essentially.
But you've got the market share there, so is
the
that
one
to
at
Openreach or
yeah.
is it to City Fibre?
No, that's actually. You see, yeah. So that's total homes passed among all the providers. So all of the homes passed for BT, all the homes passed that have been announced by City Fibre, and then the market share between them. You see, we can discuss afterwards if you like.
We won't go into it.
Yeah. Okay. And then on the TV side of things, again, there's been a huge amount of change here. And a lot of it has been driven by what's been happening, with the big content players, the broadcasters, the studios moving to, direct-to-consumer services online. We do this report where we're tracking the key kind of SVOD, AVOD players in the market, so the subscription VOD, OTT players, and the advertising backed ones as well. And you can see that, among all the operators in Western Europe that we've tracked, that Netflix takes a huge share of that kind of integration. It's the most commonly integrated app, and then followed by the obvious players like Amazon Prime Video, HBO, Disney, and this list keeps growing and growing. So these content sources are becoming part of the problem of trying to improve search and discovery and accessibility to content. And you're also, you have to put this in context with TikTok and what's happening on YouTube and Instagram. So people's eyeballs are already somewhere else. And so if we can't fix the TV side of things, then we're going to be in trouble in terms of maintaining people's interest in some of our local channels. So Netflix and Disney were the most frequently bundled with operators' pay TV services. These services have taken on the premium role within the pay TV bouquet as well. So that's changed there as well. What you have left of pay TV is essentially just sports. That's really what's underpinning a lot of pay TV these days. And then we've had just a few kind of pointers for the UK in terms of OTT subscriptions. So we're counting 21 million in 2019 up to 50 million in 2024, projected to hit 60 million in 5 years. And the usual kind of crew of services there. Amazon Now, Disney, Netflix, they made up 78% of those subscriptions in the UK. Pay TV penetration has slipped from 62% in 2014 to 49% in 2024 and is forecast to continue to slide. So if you look at the chart on the right-hand side and the top, this kind of speaks for itself. You can see the age groups, you can see the different services that are popular. YouTube is doing really well in the younger age groups, but it tends to kind of fall off a little bit when you get to the older age groups. And nothing groundbreaking there. I think we all kind of know this, but you can see how those viewing patterns shift in terms of the content services. And then finally, I'm just going to make one more point. So, just looking at ITV and their advertising revenue, again, this is kind of all relevant to the shift in TV. Traditional TV spots and digital for the company saw that digital was 14% of the total in 24, 14% of the total, and in 24 it was 26%, from 217 million to 514 million. So that has declined from 1360 million to 1338 million. So again, there's a lot of shifts from the content to the advertising to the UI. All of these things are becoming relevant. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you.